Another really important piece of equipment for the stuck knot is something called pendulation. This is the ability to go from feelings and sensations of safety to feelings and sensations of danger, basically. It's going from a stuck defensive state up the polyvagal ladder, so it's kind of like up and down. So it's up the polyvagal ladder and then back down to that stuck defensive state, and then back up and then down. But when you call it pendulating, there's also the image of like going back and forth. So we'll stick to back and forth. So it's going from the stuck defensive state to a safety resource, back to the stuck defensive state to a safety resource. This is something I do in therapy a lot. This can be done through imagination. It could also be done through interactions with, between me and the client, simply, making a joke or reminding them of something positive. So it could be a memory, or maybe even a safety resource in their body, like where they do feel power or calm or safety. A lot of times it's through a memory. It's through tapping into something that they remember and can feel in that moment, that can re-experience as safety. And tapping into that, feeling that, and then going back to the defensive energy and checking in and seeing how it's doing and what it wants to do, and then going back to safety and then back. So it's going back and forth. So you're pendulating back and forth between these two sensations or experiences in the present moment. But to do so, you kind of have to know what brings you to safety. I have a course that's called Building Safety Anchors that can help. I mean, that's what it's all about. It's identifying what brings you to safety. So it helps you to build the strength of your vagal brake, but it also helps you identify what is a safety anchor for you that you can actually use for pendulation if you want to. So the course is 30 days and it helps you to build your menu of options for safety. But if you decide you want to do the deeper stuck knot work of going into some of that stuck defensive energy, it's going to set you up for that. You'll have a stronger vagal brake, but you'll also be able to have a present moment safety anchor to help you through that stuck defensive energy and to pendulate back and forth. Building safety anchors can be found on my website, justinlmft.com. There's a link in the description as well. So that's pendulation, but we have another tool as well, and that's called titration. This is the ability, the skill, the tool of being able to feel things a little bit at a time. When you journey inward, you get your helmet on, your stuck knot helmet, you journey inward, and you might come across, you probably will, you might come across some stuck defensive energy or returning sympathetic energy. So either it's stuck, sympathetic, or returning sympathetic, or some freeze energy that needs to thaw, not shatter, but thaw. And that you do that through titration. So you allow that energy to return or to thaw a little bit at a time. You don't want to overwhelm yourself, because if you do, you're just reinforcing the stuck defensive energy. So you want to feel things a little bit at a time. That's a really important piece of equipment for us, is the ability to do that. We don't want to overwhelm the system. We don't want to go into a panic or into a rage. You want to do a little bit at a time. So if you fall too far down your ladder, it's really important to have that safety anchor ready to roll. That might be a sensory thing that you have with you, ready to roll, or it might be a memory, like I said before. Maybe it's a support person who's there with you. It could be a lot of different things. So you want to feel this stuff a little bit at a time and have that safety ready to roll to anchor you back in the present moment. Another tool that we might be able to use, and probably will use, and I think this is an important one, is the ability to feel and express appreciation and gratitude towards yourself. Because when you go in there and you find whatever it is, you might be able to eventually actually discharge it. And as you do so, the ability to apologize to yourself if you need to, or even doing this can lead to some discharge as well, can open up the path. But apologizing to yourself, forgiving yourself, expressing gratitude to your body for what it has done, or what it has survived, or the accomplishments that it's making in that moment. Expressing appreciation, expressing gratitude, love for yourself. that kind of, I know for me, when I do that, kind of deep meditative work and I feel these shifts happening, I find myself thanking my body. And I know, again, that body and mind are not exactly separate, but experientially, it's what it seems like a lot of times. But I find myself saying, like, thank you, and I appreciate you. And I'm like talking to my body. So that might be something that comes up for you is expressing appreciation and gratitude. So practicing that ahead of time or being prepared for it, because these feelings of appreciation might just come over you. Forgiveness and apologizing as well. Whether that's forgiving yourself or maybe the capacity to forgive somebody else. All these things can help you in your journey as they're appropriate and as you're ready for them. The other thing that can be helpful, and again, through building safety anchors, is a dedicated practice. Because the inner work, the inner exploration, the inner adventuring is not a one-time thing. This is something we have to dedicate ourselves to. Maybe it's every day. I know for the course it's 30 days straight, but maybe it's every day for you, and just a little bit, maybe just like a mindfulness walk, or being more mindful as you're just existing. Maybe it's a dedicated practice of meditation every day or journaling, whatever it is. It's probably not going to be a one-time thing though. So setting up that structure, predictability, or intention, that dedicated practice is going to be a really important tool for you in your adventure here. Getting unstuck is not a one-time thing. Having determination is going to be really important. So really focusing on and making a goal for yourself can be really helpful. That can be a really good piece of equipment for you. Having that motivation. So maybe asking yourself, why do I want to do this? What does life look like for me when I'm successful at this? What pieces of my life do I want to change? That might help you to focus on what's motivating you. But also discipline. Motivation is fantastic. Having the energy to make change, awesome. But discipline is equally, maybe even more important. And discipline means having that routine, that practice, that dedication. And even when you don't feel like it, following through. Not easy. We've all been there, myself included. There's days where I'm just like, no. I just want to hang out and play video games. But having that discipline is pretty essential to meeting whatever goal and utilizing that motivational energy to accomplish your goal. You need that dedicated practice to learn and practice how to explore the internal world, because the first time you do it, you're going to be distracted, or the second time or the third time, you're going to be up in your thoughts. Your surrounding environment is going to be distraction. It's not going to be easy. So practicing is pretty important when it comes to this inner adventuring of a stuck knot. Also, the dedicated practice can help you to develop those safety anchors and to build that vagal brake that is so important. Building the strength of your vagal brake is so important to being able to go inward, stay there, and be curious. It is absolutely essential. So that dedicated practice is really important.